There are wounds you can't see, the kind that don't bruise your skin, but carve deep scars into your trust. They don't break your bones. They break something far more fragile. Your belief in the people you thought would protect you. And now here you are, standing in the wreckage of a connection that, deep down, never truly valued you. Here's the hard truth. You can't heal in the same place that hurt you. And you'll never find peace if you're still stuck trying to prove something to someone who never cared enough to notice when they had the chance. This isn't a revenge guide. This isn't about teaching them a lesson or making them regret losing you. This is about you, about learning how to rise with quiet strength, emotional intelligence, and a level of inner peace that nothing can shake. The Stoics never promised us a life without pain. They didn't say we could avoid betrayal, heartbreak, or loss. What they taught was how to stand tall in the middle of it, how to protect our soul when the world turns cold, how to turn wounds into wisdom without ever lifting a sword. So if you've ever been used, lied to, betrayed, ignored, gaslit, or made to feel like you were the problem, stay with me. This isn't just advice. This is your turning point. There's a moment right after the hurt hits when your whole mind screams for justice. You replay every word, every lie, every passive-aggressive silence. You imagine the perfect comeback, the perfect confrontation, the perfect moment where they finally see the pain they caused you. But here's the reality, and Stoicism makes this crystal clear. You don't owe them a war. You owe yourself peace. When someone wounds you, your first instinct is to make them feel what you felt. As human, we want to balance the scales. But in chasing that emotional payback, you end up trading one wound for another. You sacrifice your peace just to reclaim a pride that should have never been in their hands in the first place. The Stoic path starts here. Control yourself, not them. Epictetus said it perfectly. We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. You were betrayed. Yes, that happened. But now you're the one carrying it into every day, into every conversation, into every sleepless night. That's not their doing anymore. That's you. The Stoic path begins where blame ends. You can't control how they treated you. You can't make them apologize. You can't rewrite what happened. But you can control what happens next. And what happens next is what defines you. So what is peace, really? Peace isn't pretending nothing happened. It isn't plastering on a smile while your chest feels heavy. It's not fake forgiveness wrapped in politeness. Peace is power. It's the quiet conviction that you will no longer allow their behavior to dictate your emotional weather. You don't protect your peace by lashing out or pushing people away in rage. You protect it by making a choice. They no longer get emotional access to you. Not everyone who hurts you deserves a reaction. Some people just deserve distance and silence. That's not running away. That's emotional discipline. Here's another hard truth. There's no winning an emotional battle with someone who doesn't care. You can argue for hours. You can craft the perfect words. You can prove every point. They still won't care. Why? Because they never saw the situation the way you did. Their silence wasn't forgetfulness. Their manipulation wasn't confusion. It was intentional disregard. You don't win by exposing them. You win by evolving so far beyond their emotional reach that they can't even find the version of you they once hurt. This isn't cowardice. It's clarity. Emotional intelligence is choosing healing over hostility, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Think about your energy like a daily budget. You wake up with 100 units. Every time you think about them, you spend 5 units. Every time you replay an argument in your head, that's 10 more gone. Every time you wonder if they miss you, another 10 disappears. By noon, you've wasted 80 units on someone who isn't even thinking about you. How do you build a strong life like that? Your energy is sacred. Protect it like a monk protects his silence. It's not your job to fix someone who broke you. Your only job now is to rebuild yourself in a way they can never break again. This is the way of the Stoic. Quiet strength, inner discipline, relentless self-respect. And here's the beautiful twist. When you don't fight back, they'll call you cold. When you go silent, they'll say you've changed. When you walk away, they'll accuse you of giving up. Let them. Your victory will be invisible to them, because it was never meant for them to understand. You're not healing to prove a point. You're healing to reclaim your life. The greatest revenge is not a clapback. It's not a public meltdown. It's not even a subtle social media post you hope they'll see. It's peace. Real, undisturbed, unbothered peace. And the part they'll never see coming? You didn't burn the bridge. You just built a whole new life without it. Now, before you think this is about just letting it go, let's make something clear. Stoicism is not passive. It's not rolling over and pretending nothing happened. It's not smiling through disrespect. In fact, Stoicism is one of the most active forms of self-protection you can practice. Why? Because it forces you to choose your responses deliberately instead of being dragged around by your emotions like a leaf in the wind. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who had the weight of an entire empire on his shoulders, wrote something powerful in his meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Notice what he's saying. Strength doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering your own mind. And that's where real emotional freedom lives. So how do you actually do this? How do you stop letting other people's actions hijack your emotions? Step 1. Name it. When someone hurts you, stop telling yourself vague stories like, "They betrayed me." Instead, be precise. "They broke my trust by lying about this specific thing." Why? Because clarity shrinks the monster. It turns an emotional tornado into something you can examine. And once you can examine it, you can control it. Step 2. Cut the energy supply. Every time you retell the story in your head, you're giving the wound oxygen. Stop feeding it. Stop stalking their social media. Stop asking mutual friends about them. Every moment you spend monitoring their life is a moment you could be building yours. Step 3. Redirect. The Stoics believed in replacing destructive impulses with constructive ones. If you want to text them in anger, write in a journal instead. If you want to expose them publicly, go for a run, lift weights, or channel that fire into your craft. Anger is energy, and you decide where that energy goes. Here's the thing. Emotional detachment is not the same as indifference. Indifference says, "I don't care." Detachment says, "I care about myself more than I care about changing you." When you're detached, you can love people deeply, but you refuse to let them control your peace. You can walk away from toxic patterns, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself enough to stop bleeding for someone who won't even hand you a bandage. Now let's talk about something people rarely admit. Part of why it's hard to let go is because deep down we want them to come back. We want them to see our worth, regret their actions, and apologize. We want the movie ending where the person realizes they were wrong and chases us down in the rain. But real life isn't a movie. And the rain isn't romantic, it's cold. The moment you stop waiting for them to come back is the moment you step into your real power. Because here's the truth. They might never regret it. They might never apologize. They might even rewrite the story to make themselves the victim. And none of that changes the fact that you can still live an incredible life without them. One of the most freeing Stoic practices is something I call the disappearing act. Not in a manipulative, ghosting way, but in a self-preserving way. You don't announce it. You don't warn them. You simply stop showing up where your soul gets drained. You stop arguing. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. You become like the mountain. Still, unshaken, watching the storms pass without fear. The goal isn't to harden your heart. The goal is to protect it so that when the right people come along, you can give them your love without the weight of old wounds dragging you down. Because the truth is, every minute you spend consumed by anger is a minute stolen from joy. And the Stoics understood that our time is the most precious thing we have. Seneca put it bluntly, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." So the question is, how much more of your life are you willing to spend replaying a chapter that's already over? If you can master this, the art of letting go without bitterness, you'll carry something even more powerful than peace. Freedom. Not the kind of freedom you get from running away from your problems, but the kind that comes from knowing you can face anything without losing yourself in the process. That's when you become unshakable. So let's get practical. Because all of this sounds good in theory, But in the middle of a heartbreak, betrayal, or emotional storm, philosophy can feel like a far-off island you just can't swim to. The Stoics weren't just about big ideas, they were about daily training. They treated the mind like a muscle, one you had to strengthen every single day if you wanted it to hold steady when life hit hard. Here are a few of the most powerful Stoic practices you can use right now. Exercise 1. The emotional pause. Whenever you feel that surge, the urge to reply instantly, to clap back, to defend yourself, stop. Literally pause for 10 seconds. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? 9 times out of 10, you'll realize you're about to waste energy on something that doesn't deserve it. The pause is your shield. It creates space between their action and your reaction, and in that space you regain your control. Exercise 2. View from above. This was one of Marcus Aurelius' favorites. Imagine zooming out from your body until you're looking at the whole city, then the country, then the planet. See how small you are? See how small they are? See how tiny this whole situation looks in the grand scale of time. It's not about minimizing your feelings, it's about right-sizing them. The problem that feels like your entire world right now is just one moment in the long, complex story of your life. Exercise 3. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that by training yourself to endure small challenges, you'd be ready for the big ones. That could mean taking a cold shower, skipping a meal, or walking instead of driving. Why? Because when you choose discomfort, you teach your brain that you can survive it. And when life throws discomfort at you without asking, like betrayal or loss, you'll already be conditioned to face it without falling apart. Exercise 4. The control filter. Write down everything that's bothering you right now. Then split the list into 2 columns. Column 1, things you can control. Column 2, things you can't. Now, and this part is key, cross out column 2. Burn it, delete it, throw it away. You've just given yourself permission to stop carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. Exercise 5. Negative visualization. This might sound strange, but it's powerful. Once a day, imagine losing something or someone you love. Not in a morbid way, but as a reminder of impermanence. When you do this, 2 things happen. 1. You stop taking what you have for granted. 2. You stop being shocked when life changes because you've trained your mind to understand that change is the rule, not the exception. The point of all these exercises isn't to suppress your emotions. Stoicism isn't about being a robot. It's about mastering the gap between what happens and what you do next. Because the truth is, it's not the betrayal that will define you. It's your response to it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you start living like this, calmly, steadily, without the need to react to every provocation, you'll notice something. The people who once fed off your emotional reactions, they'll get frustrated. They'll try harder to trigger you. They might even call you cold, arrogant, or different. Good. That's how you know you're winning. Because they're no longer in control of your peace and they know it. When someone betrays you, it's not just the relationship that's damaged. It's your sense of self. You start questioning who you are, what you stand for, and whether you ignored red flags. But here's the truth. Rebuilding yourself after betrayal isn't just about getting back to the person you were before. It's about becoming someone better, stronger, sharper, wiser. Step 1. Reclaim your narrative. One of the most dangerous things betrayal does is steal your story. Suddenly, you're not you anymore, you're the person who got cheated on, or the one they lied to. The Stoics would tell you, you are not your wound. Write a new version of your story. Literally. Sit down and put it on paper. Start with, this happened, but it doesn't define me. Then write about who you're becoming. You're no longer just someone who survived what they did. You're the main character in a comeback story. Step 2. Audit your circle. When you've been burned, you see people more clearly. Not just the one who betrayed you, but everyone around you. Who showed up for you? Who disappeared? Who kept making excuses for them? Cut the dead weight. If someone benefits from your pain or minimizes it, they don't get VIP access to your life. Protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. Step 3. Upgrade your standards. Betrayal has a hidden gift. It shows you exactly what you will never tolerate again. Make a list of your non-negotiables and be ruthless about them. If someone violates them, you don't debate, you don't negotiate, you leave. Remember, walking away is not weakness. It's the ultimate power move. Step 4. Build a fortress of habits. The Stoics knew that resilience isn't built in crisis, it's built in routine. Create daily habits that make you stronger, calmer, and more focused. Wake up early and move your body. Read something that challenges your mind. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Yes, even on bad days, these habits become your armor. When life tests you again, you'll already be prepared. Step 5. Outgrow them. The sweetest revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's becoming someone they don't even have access to anymore. You don't chase them. You don't try to show them what they lost. You simply outgrow them so completely that your worlds no longer even overlap. And when they see you, thriving, smiling, unbothered, they'll realize they didn't break you. They built you. Here's the part no one tells you. The person who comes out on the other side of this is going to be almost unrecognizable. Not because you'll be colder, but because you'll be clearer. Your boundaries will be sharper. Your tolerance for nonsense will be lower. And your peace, untouchable. So here's the big takeaway. Life is going to test you. People will lie, betray, disappoint. That's not cynicism, that's reality. The Stoics never promised a life free of pain. What they promised was that you could face pain without losing yourself. Think about it like this. Every time you refuse to react in anger, you strengthen your self-control. Every time you focus only on what you can control, you free yourself from mental chains. Every time you practice gratitude, even in the middle of chaos, you prove that no one can touch your inner state without your permission. That's power. Real power. Betrayal doesn't have to be the end of your peace. It can be the beginning of the most unshakable version of you. Because here's the truth. They can take your trust. They can take your time. But they can't take your mind unless you hand it over. So walk forward from here with calm, with clarity, with unbothered confidence. You're not the person who got betrayed. You're the person who turned pain into armor. And the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, a Stoic doesn't flinch. A Stoic doesn't break. A Stoic stands firm, looks life in the eye, and says, "Do your worst. I'm ready." That's how you win, not by controlling the world, but by mastering yourself. If you found this helpful, remember, Stoicism isn't something you just learn once. It's a practice, a daily choice. So keep showing up, keep strengthening your mind, and watch how unstoppable you become.